Hi, I'm Jeff Gearhart with the Master's Program. Can you believe it? Another school year is about to blow us by, and I've got a question for you. What's going to happen when your kids leave your home someday to start their adult life or perhaps go to college? Will they carry the faith that you've got? Here's what you're up against. If we think about how awake time or how much time we've got while our kids are awake, there's about 14 hours. So say they wake up at 7, go to bed at 9-ish, something like that, 14 hours worth of time. 7 of those hours are going to be spent at school or in some sort of educational activity. 4 of those hours, if the data's right, is the amount of time that they're getting digital inputs. So if there's 4 hours time, that's going to be 4 hours of digital input and 7 hours of education. Okay, that's 11 hours. What about the rest? Well, those are the 3 hours that you've got left. And probably what you're spending time doing is driving them places, watching their activities, or having a meal with them. Maybe there's a bath, a bedtime story, they're down, they're up, and that's what you've got in 3 hours. Your 3 hours of effectivity versus 11 hours of someone else's input. Here's what you must decide right now. You are the chief educational officer of your family. And everybody, whether it's your youth pastor, the teachers at the kids' schools, or anyone else that's providing the input, including coaches, they work for you. And because they work for you, they need to be your partners alongside of an agenda that you're driving. So if the agenda that you're driving is around the fact that you're trying to get them to want to carry your faith, what's going to be compelling about their lives that's going to drive them to want to stay in faith? Look, here's the challenge, and I'm going to give this to you squarely. If your kids are in public school right now, there's a good chance that those 7 hours, a high probability that their faith is being broken down and that they're left in a place where they're unsure of your faith. At least you've got a very serious competing voice with you in their faith. Now, I remember growing up, I went to public school. You probably remember if you went to public school growing up and you knew, and I knew, that at least public school was neutral or positive as an outcome of going there in terms of faith. But in today's world, what you need to understand is that's just simply not the case. And don't think that just because you're going to send them to a private Christian school, that that's going to be the answer either. We need to be interrogating what is really going on in the school place. And I'm telling you that the choices of what happens in those 7 hours are not left to circumstance. They're not left to the government. They are up to you and me. So what we choose is to decide, I'm going to get involved. And what are my choices? Am I going to homeschool them or do some other sort of blended opportunity? You need to decide. It's your agenda. And being the chief education officer, it's your investment of developing these kids. Now, you might say to me, Jeff, I could get 4 hours back with no digital life. Are you sure? Because so many people are using digital life as digital babysitting, and they're allowing their kids to zone out while they're reading and looking at devices and getting all sorts of other inputs. Look, in our busy lives as successful people, you may think that you can outsource all of this, but you cannot. You are going to lead and create an agenda that's going to intentionally develop your kids, to bring them on to faith adventures where they will be seeing you while you're praying and saying, God, I don't know how this is going to work out. And that they get to see how God shows up. And while they see a believing set of parents trust God, they'll find the God that they should follow while they're under your roof. And look, if you're a grandparent, you need to be involved in this as well. As you're looking at your grandkids, you need to ask yourself, what is the investment that I can put into my kids or my kids' kids so this environment stimulates them for faith? Look, we can no longer live in a world where we say it's someone else's job. And if we keep imagining that, we'll get the results that we deserve. I'm challenging you today. Decide that you are the chief educational officer of your family and that your agenda for your children is faith and nurturing that will lead them to a life that will carry faith and live not just religiously, rather, to really know Jesus, to love and know him and lean on him, and to answer the question, who am I and what was I made for? That's the question that we're going to help you answer for the rest of your life in the master's program. Who am I and what was I made for? And we want you to help your children to raise up with the answer to that so they move out on mission, living an integrated life that will matter forever in eternity. We're in your corner. God bless you.